Cyprus at the moment?
Well, this is a dispute primarily between the Greek Cypriot and the Turkish Cypriot side, whereas the second is largely dominated by Turkey. But behind each one of the direct parts in this conflict, there are other countries and powers. That is, behind the Greek Cypriot side, there is obviously France and the European Union, whereas behind the Turkish Cypriot side, it is directly Turkey. So it's a geopolitical conflict having to do with the natural resources in the area, which are supposed to be important. We do not know yet.
Okay, and what do you think the benefits of them finding this oil and gas that's being reported, the billion metric cubes? What will the benefits of that being found will be?
Well, the benefits are obvious. If the funds are economic, are as they say, so much as they say, and also if they are economically exploitable, then this would be an immense. This would bring an immense revenue to Cyprus. Take note, of course, that Cyprus, both the Republic of Cyprus and the occupied by Turkey part, have serious energy problems. Thus, first, these amounts of natural resources would solve the island's energy problems, but it would also generate a serious income, despite the fall in the prices of oil and natural gas in the recent months.
Okay, and obviously you mentioned the financial benefits. The financial benefits behind this exploration for oil and gas. This is having something to do on the dispute as well, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. The Cyprus dispute that goes for many decades is a dispute generated by Western powers, and primarily the old Albion, Britain. She was the occupier of the island. She engineered the divide between the two communities of the island, the Greek Cypriot amounting to around 80% of the population at that time, and the Turkish Cypriot around 15-17% at that time. Britain and NATO behind Britain has an extensive military presence in the island, in the British military bases there. So it is a controversy that it is very Byzantine. It has many parts in this. Now Turkey has occupied a great extent of the island, almost 40% of that, for almost 40 years. It doesn't want to relinquish its grip on the island. On the other hand, the Greek Cypriots want to regain part of the properties on the political area and reunify the island. So, and behind each one of them, there are separate foreign interests. That is, till now, Western powers, and particularly the US and Britain and Germany behind them, wanted a reunification of the island under the auspices of NATO, and in order to exploit its economic and financial resources. With the recent dispute between the West and Turkey because of Erdogan's policies, they have somehow released their pressure for a unification of the island under the terms dictated by Turkey and its military presence. And also Israel is a partner in this game with a very dubious and very dirty diplomatic and military game in this. So on the one hand, the Greek Cypriot side attempts to exploit the natural resources, and it is supported directly, it appears, from by certain Western powers, such as France, which has sent 2 frigates in the area, and whose oil company Total is the one making the drilling, the preliminary drilling, and note also that Total is as an oil company is in a bad shape. It has lost many areas and contracts, so it's very anxious to expand its operations. And on the other hand, it is Turkey, which is masterminding the Turkish Cypriot side and directing it. And Turkey, of course, wants a big bite of this part. If I may say something else, the total outcome is bad for the people on the island, both the Greek Cypriot and the Turkish Cypriot community. The island of Cyprus and its people and their different communities have become the battleground of foreign powers, and this is bad for both of them. In my humble opinion, the only solution for the island, for the benefit of its people, is to be demilitarized, that is, the total withdrawal of all military forces. The great presence there is the Turkish army, but also the Greek army has a much smaller, of course, presence. The withdrawal of the military bases, such as these of Great Britain, and also a form of unified state on the basis, a federation, a unified federation on the basis of a bi-community, bi-zonal structure. And that's, I think, is the only solution that would bring both peace and prosperity in the island.
Okay, you kind of touched on my final question there, but the EU and the US have said that they support Cyprus's right to explore for the oil and gas.
Exactly.
Yeah, so what do you think the outcome will be by the political powers? You mentioned what the impact it'll have on the people of Cyprus. What do you think the final outcome will be for the political powers? Do you think the EU and US will lean on its friend Turkey, or do you think Turkey will dig their heels in and try and win this?
Well, this comes to another burning Cypriot issue, that is the negotiations between the two communities, which the last round in Cran Mondana in Switzerland collapsed the previous week, if I remember well. Well, I think the Western powers play a tricky game. First, the EU and particularly Germany is very aggressive against Turkey and the Erdogan regime, and for this reason it pressurizes Turkey more than, say, the US currently. The US also has problems with Turkey currently. The attempted coup d'etat in Turkey, it was obviously inspired by the US. The new Trump administration is not so aggressive against Erdogan, but it has considerable problems with him. Now the usual trick that Western powers play with Turkey is that they try to lure both the Greek and the Turkish side to some form of agreement, but on terms benefiting the main Western powers. And of course this complicates things very much. For the time being, because of the differences between Turkey and both the EU on the one hand and the US on the other, there is not such pressure for a deal as that we have seen during the so-called Annan plan, which collapsed several years ago. So the Western powers would play a game of hide and seek, trying to pressurize a bit Erdogan so as to achieve the best outcome for their own interests on the island.
Okay, well that's all my questions. Have you got anything else you'd like to add, or have you missed anything else, Stavros, that you think might be good to get across?
Well, I may reiterate my initial point, that is the only positive solution for the people of the island, both the two communities, and the peace in the island, is to disentangle themselves from the interests of the dominating and dominating Western powers and try to seek a peaceful and democratic solution. And that would be a demilitarized, non-aligned island with a unified state on a federational basis that is bi-zonal and by community.
Okay.
That's all.
That's fantastic. Thanks very much for your time this afternoon, Stavros.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much for talking to me today. It's been great talking to you.
Okay.